Hello and welcome. Can anyone hear me? Alright. It's time for our class and we are ready to commence the training. So I welcome everyone to this class. It's an opportunity to be with everyone after last week, and for those of us who will be watching after the classes, we are all welcome and I greet you all in absentia. Tonight's class is not going to be very long. We'll go through the basics of the CorelDraw very quickly, and after our view, whatever comment we have here would determine if we are going to have another class later in the month or some other time. Alright, I'm your host and trainer on this session, and my name is Ayodeji Shebanjo. It's a great privilege to take this course with everybody and to show us around how to use the CorelDraw. I believe that the session also will be very, very explanatory, and especially for beginners who are finding their way or want to find their way into designing. It is going to be very, very easy to follow. Alright, so let's get our systems ready as we begin. Can everybody see my screen? Okay. I hope we can all see my screen. I really hope we can all see my screen. So with what I have here, I'm going to start afresh from the beginning so we can all have access and understand where we start from and where we are going to. Please share this link to as many persons as possible. let them participate, let them benefit from what we are doing tonight. It's night time here, yes. And so what is graphic design? Let's start with that. Graphic design okay, sorry, I'm seeing some persons comment on the live chat, on the group chat. Okay, so graphic design is a common terminology. Actually, everybody is familiar with graphic design. Everybody wants to be in that field, or most persons want to be in that field. Why some persons find it uninteresting, some persons find it tedious to delve into. Meanwhile, and mind you, graphic design is not art. Let me quickly give us a background to what we are looking at tonight. When we talk about graphic design, it simply has to do with the bringing together of different elements to pass a visual meaning, or to pass information visually. So it is, you can call graphic design a profession, you could call it a discipline, but the sole purpose of graphic design is to communicate information visually. It is also a means of solving problems through typography. When we talk about typography, the question is, what is typography? Typography is the way we write out information and how we view written text. That's typography. So from our day-to-day experiences, our day-to-day activities, we are surrounded with what do I call it now? Graphical elements. We are surrounded with designs every day. When you look at the flower, when you look at the structure of a building, when you look at the design of a car, everything is centered around a design. But where a graphic designer comes in is when we begin to bring shapes, text, and elements together to pass an information. When we begin to bring together lines, colors, illustrations to pass information, we are talking about graphic design. It is also, you can also take it to be defined as graphical and textual elements implemented together. You understand? It helps to communicate information through graphical and textual elements. That is what graphic design is all about. Graphic design can be used to promote products, it can be used to sell products through advertising, by the websites, or by businesses to develop identity for brands, among many other things. So that is graphic design in a brief explanation. That's graphic design in a brief explanation. Now we are also going to, and we have to even look at it, we have to look at the element of graphic design. When we talk about elements, we are talking about the things that composes or that forms up the field of graphic design. Some of them are colors, some of them are colors, lines, shapes, size, space, texture, texts. These things make up graphic design. They make up the graphic design. Now, when we are looking at the things that make up graphic design, we also need to understand that because it is a discipline, there are principles that guard it. There are principles that guard the 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 operation of designing, and we'll be looking at those principles. No matter how much a good designer is, he or she obeys these principles. He or she obeys these principles. Some of the principles are balance, some of them are contrast, emphasis, movement, proportion, and rhythm. These are principles of design. Let me take it again. We have balance. Okay, let me just show it to us so that we can understand. Can you see the screen? Oh, okay. Okay. So, what are the principles of design? Balance, contrast, consistency, repetition, alignment, proximity, and emphasis. I will not be talking about everything actually, but let me just take a look at balance. What is balance? Balance is the distribution or arrangement of text, objects, colors, shapes, space in a way that makes a design feel and look stable. That is balance as a principle of graphic design. We can see it on the screen. I'm very sure we can see it on the screen. Without balance, a design is not a design. Without balance, a design is not a design. What is making this presentation look very okay right now is because there's balance on all sides of the design. When you look at the left hand side to the right hand side, there is balance. There is balance. That is one principle of design. That is one principle of design. Another principle of design that I will talk about right now. Okay, before I even go, now balance can be considered by visual weight, which is created by size, texture, or the number of objects. Also, colors can determine balance. Colors can determine balance. Then we have different types of balance. As a principle, we have different types of balance. We have the symmetrical balance. This is when all objects have equal weight distributed on equal sides. I hope that is not confusing. When you look at the images on the screen right now, we'll discover that the weight on the left hand side of this butterfly is the same and equal to the weight on the right hand side of the butterfly. The wings of the right hand wing is not longer, is not shorter, is not bigger than that of the left arm. So it gives the butterfly a balance to fly. Now let's just imagine that this butterfly it does not have the right wing. Can you imagine that? It does not have the right wing. Or let's assume that one is bigger than the other. Maybe the left wing is bigger than the right wing. You can already imagine that it will be difficult for the butterfly to fly. It will be very difficult. That is the principle of balance. So balance enables us to feel a design properly. It enables structure. It creates a structure in a design. That is what balance does. The second building, or the next image rather, this image, we can see that from the left hand side to the right hand side, they are equal. They are equal. The structures are arranged on the left hand side are equal to the structures arranged on the left hand side. So also the pathway, this flower, the flowers, the arrangement of the flowers as they are on the left hand side, we have it on the right hand side. Now look at the pavement also, the same thing. So it gives the house a good look from a distance. It gives the house a good look. So balance cannot be neglected in designing. It cannot be neglected. It cannot be neglected. The second type of balance is asymmetrical balance, and this involves the placement of objects in a way that we allow elements of varying visual weight to balance each other around a central axis. Let's take this shape as a description. This is the central axis of this, between this part of the design and the right hand part of the design. And when you look at it, we have two shapes. We have the square and we have the circle. However, the circle has been arranged in a manner that is balanced out together with the square. You understand? So that is asymmetrical. Asymmetrical is not going to be the same, but it's telling you that when you look at it, the arrangement of both sides will be such that it balances themselves. Look at the picture of the bicycle also. It balances it out. This is an example of asymmetrical balance. Let's take another principle and talk about it. Let us take rhythm. Now, what is rhythm? It actually refers to the regular repetition of elements of art to produce the look and feel of movement. It can be said to be the repetitive use of a group of visual elements at least 3 times in order to establish a recognizable pattern. Rhythm can be used over and over to achieve balance and harmony. Remember, we talked about balance in our first principle. Like I said, these principles are not arranged in any order. They are picked randomly. And even if you look at it, I'm not talking about contrast. Immediately I spoke about balance. I'm talking about rhythm, and rhythm was not even on this list. That was why I had to tell us that it is not arranged in any particular order, and we'll only be looking at 6 out of the many principles of design that we have. We have many principles of design. All right, let's go back to reading now. Now, reading, if you look at it now, on this zebra, the skin follows a particular pattern. And there's another design principle called pattern. So pattern and reading are similar, however, they are not actually the same thing. Now, what's the difference between pattern and reading? They are, like I said, they are similar. The difference is very slight. It's just an inch away from each other. Pattern is repetitive. It's a repetition of reading. Do you get it? Pattern is a repetition of reading. When it follows a particular flow, a particular system of design, that is pattern. However, reading is only repetition of elements. Do you get it? Why reading is a repetition of elements, pattern is a repetition of rhythms. So when you have a flow of reading, you have a pattern. So why we have this? What is the rhythm on this zebra? The rhythm of this zebra is the stripes. But you discover that it is also a pattern. Now, let's define pattern and rhythm from this zebra. Looking at the body of the zebra, let me zoom in. That's too much. Looking at the body of this zebra, we can see that along this body part, the flow or the stripes are coming downward. You understand that they are coming downward. Now, this is, we call the general stripes reading, but it is a pattern. Now, you understand it very well now. Going from our left hand to our right hand side, you discover that it follows a particular pattern. they are all stripes pointing downward, like they are pointing upward. They are drawn rather upward and downward, straight from up to bottom, straight from bottom to up, like that, and it moves in that direction, in certain direction. Now that is a pattern. If you look at the way the leg is designed and the stripes on the leg, you discover that now it is no longer vertical, it is now horizontal, like from right to left, from left to right, from right to left, from left to right. The same thing applies to all the leg, other part of the leg, other legs. So you discover, you can now define the difference between rhythm and pattern. This is a pattern because, this is a rhythm because it is a repetition of certain elements. The stripes is a repetition, but it's a pattern because the flows are different. So like I said earlier on, patterns follow flows, while rhythm only repeats elements. Okay, now having done that, we can make progress and go into our design. Now, for emphasis, what is emphasis? Emphasis is the principle that deals with the focal point of a design. The focal point of a design. It is applied to make a statement of focus. Emphasis is applied to make a statement of focus, interest, and attention within a design. That is what emphasis is about. And if we look at the text that we have below, we'll discover that